Always say something. A prize, motherfucker.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. What's going on, everybody? As we all know, mental health is a huge piece for me. And recently, as I become a better version of myself, I've decided that it's time for me to go to therapy because I understand how life can be a little overwhelming and we all need help navigating through the trenches of military service in and out of uniform. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. First, all you got to do is go to their site. Matter of fact, you can use my link right here. Answer a few questions and BetterHelp will match you with a professional who has years of experience helping people with struggles just like yours. You can do it all from your phone or computer via phone call or video chat or messaging, however you feel most comfortable. It's the easiest possible way to start talking to a therapist. You will be matched to a therapist usually within 48 hours so you can get started fast. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your home. Visit betterhelp.com/Meech Speaks and enjoy a special discount on your first month.
What's going on, everybody? It's that ordinary podcaster with the extraordinary thoughts that tells you to stop being great and be extraordinary. I'm Demetrius Thigpen, also known as Meech Speaks, and welcome back to another episode of the Talkin Crazy Podcast. Now, before we get started with this podcast, don't forget to, why is it that when I'm moving around, like my hands do this weird thing? You know what I mean? Like completely off topic. However, before we get started with this episode, don't forget to head on over to your favorite streaming platform, whether that's Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, and leave this honest review because this podcast deserves to grow just as much as we do. Also, if you're on Spotify, don't forget to leave a comment on this podcast, especially on your favorite episode or if this episode actually resonated with you. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with today's episode. So, I'm gonna just go ahead and just do some house cleaning real quick before we really dive into today's episode, because if I don't do the house cleaning, then this episode honestly won't make a lot of sense, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So the first thing that I want to say is thank you for the birthday wishes. Let's just go ahead and just open up with that. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. November 29th, this past Saturday, I turned 35. And I know if you're looking at this on video, I don't look 35. You feel me? I don't look 35. If you see me in person, I don't look 30. If you've ever just was like, damn, if you just said, damn, you feel me? When I said I turned 35 this past Saturday and you're like, Meech doesn't look 35, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You feel me? Because I do a lot of hydrating. I do a lot of minding my own business. I do a lot of keeping my skin moisturized. You feel me? So I'm grateful that I don't look my age. And I'm also grateful that I don't look like what I've been through, if that makes sense. Also, I'll just say this real quick and I'm going to just go ahead and just get this out the way right now. If you are younger than me and you look older than me, I'm going to need you to just to go ahead and fall back. Just fall back. You feel me? Because before you say something wild to me, I just want you to realize and look in the mirror. All right? You're 23. You're 23 years old and you look like you're 40. You're 23 years old. All right? You're 23 years old and you look like you're 35. All right? If you're in your 20s and you look older than me, I need you to go ahead and fall all the way back. I apologize. I ain't trying to be rude, but a lot of y'all get real rude when y'all hear people's ages. All right. So I just got to get that one out the way. Now, another house cleaning. All right. Spotify just dropped their Unwrap. All right. Apple also dropped their, what is it called? Like replay. Nobody uses Apple Music, but Spotify just dropped their Unwrap. And what I've always loved about the Unwrap, honestly, you feel me, is it gives you a chance to look at your entire year through the music lens. You feel me? Like you get a chance to see where you were like really like high points in your life. You feel me? Based off of the music that you were listening to, and low points in your life based off of the music that you were listening to. It also shows like a change in what you have been. I love it, dude. Like I really fucking love it. You know what I mean? And I knew coming into it, like who my number one artist was going to be, who my number one album was going to be. And also I will even go on to say this. If you have Spotify, right? Like if you have Spotify and you got your top 2025 playlist, do me a favor, send it to me. I'll send you mine. I would love to hear what y'all have been listening to. You feel me? Now, on the flip side of that, they also do it for podcast creators. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all Talkin Crazy's 2025 Unwrap. First things first, 33% increase in total audience. 999 total increase in new audience. And lastly, a 16 increase in overall just listenership. And I just really want to just tell you, thank you. All right. I think that's the biggest thing to it. Thank you, because I wouldn't be here without anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be here if no one took time out to listen to my show. I wouldn't be here if no one took time out to share it. If the episodes didn't resonate with you, then I'm just in a fucking closet just speaking. You know what I mean? So I really want to just take a moment and just say thank you to everyone who took time out to listen to my episodes, that commented on my episodes, that have shared my podcast, who has really just been along this journey. Because to be honest with you, I created this podcast for us, and I'm grateful that this podcast has been able to help us, resonate with us, and it's being shared amongst us. So with that being said, so when I tell y'all to share this podcast, I really do mean it. Like, share this podcast. And based off of what the stats are, some of y'all are actually sharing this podcast. Let me rephrase that. A lot of y'all are sharing this podcast. So from the bottom of my heart, from the entire team of Talkin Crazy, I truly, truly, truly thank you. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with today's episode. So the same way that you got a Spotify Unwrap or a Apple Replay or a Country Road Rewind, December is also your Unwrap. You feel me? December is also your Unwrap. And for those who don't really understand, December isn't just about getting into the holiday spirit. All right. And I know a lot of y'all are now putting up y'all trees and now probably putting up your lights. Thank you for respecting the holiday. But December isn't just about getting into the holiday spirit. December is also a month of reflection. You feel me? Like, we really got to take a step back and really take into consideration that this is the last month of 2025. This is the last month of the year. This is the last fourth day of the year. You feel me? And when I say that, this is also that moment where people are starting to generate what their New Year's resolution is going to be. You feel me? Like, we're building up exactly what it is. And the reason why you're building it up is because you're reflecting. You feel me? Like, you're reflecting on the big changes that occurred this year. And if you're like me, you should be asking yourself, what worked for me? What didn't work for me? What were my wins? What were my losses? How did I handle certain situations? Were they good? Were they bad? Were there any opportunities this year that I was able to capitalize on? Were there any opportunities that I missed? That's what this year is all about. So with that being said, today's episode is your December Unwrap, and we're going to unwrap it so we can jumpstart the new year. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, I always try to come into the episode positive. I always try to come into it motivational, but I'm also a realist. And for a lot of people, December could either be the last month of the year for you that you need to jumpstart your new year, or it's the last month that you can be on your bullshit. Like, I'm going to just be completely honest with you. There's two mindsets that you can walk out of December with. You can easily walk out of December with the mindset that, hey, new standard, you feel me? New mindset, more discipline, new goals, attack. There's so many ways that you can think of in December, you feel me, that can help you be successful in January. However, for a lot of people, and when I say a lot of people, I also mean myself, December can also be, and if you've ever been on a diet, if you ever said you were about to quit something, you know that right before you quit, there's that binge thing. You feel me? There's that binge moment. December could be the last month where you sit there and you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to get my shit together in January. You feel me? Ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm going to start saving money in January. That means that I'm going to spend it all in December. Yeah, I'm going to clean my diet up in January. That means that you going to eat like shit in December. 100%. Yeah. No. Let me cook. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go to the gym in January. That means that you're going to be lazy in December. You're going to sit on your ass in December. For some, December is just a stepping stool towards the best version of themselves. For others, December is almost a timeshare of the last bit of bullshit that they can execute before they can go into the new year. Now, I will tell you this real quick, okay? How you handle your December is how you handle your December. I'm not trying to rush you. I'm not trying to put you in panic mode. I'm not trying to do any of that. All I'm trying to do is ensure that you become the best version of yourself. So you can treat December however you need to treat it in order to create the best version of yourself. But I will tell you, in these last little days that we have of the year, you can either use it to set yourself up for success, or you can dwell in the bullshit. You feel me? You could dwell in the bullshit that had held you back all year. Now, here's the thing, though, because there's a huge caveat to that. Because if you think, right, like if you think that you just all of a sudden gonna quit cold turkey January 1st, you know you fucking wrong. You know that there's gonna be some residual. You know that there's still gonna be some habits that you wanna fucking take a test drive. I mean, January 10th ain't National Quitters Day for no fucking reason. So I will tell you, as once again, I ain't from a high horse, flying in on Experience Airlines. If you want your January to be powerful, if you want your January to be the right thing or the right direction, then start doing it now. One thing that I've also learned about December is that December is just fucking heavy. All right? December is just a heavy month. And I'll be remiss if I sat here and just said that I had a stellar year this fucking December. You know what I mean? Especially when we sit back and we look at our Unwrap, or we look at our report card, or we look at our fit rep, or we just review the entire year. You know, there's going to be your high moments. There's also going to be your low moments. December is always a heavy month because it's that month where you take a step back and you ask yourself, like, what the fuck have I been doing this entire year? December is that month where you reflect on your accomplishments. You feel me? I got promoted in August. You feel me? I got selected in March. I took a P last year. You already know how I was handling. You already know how I was moving in 2025. You feel me? Like I was high. I was in some high points in 2025. So when I tell you, December's that moment where you're reflecting on these accomplishments. Them goals that you have finally been trying to hit, you probably hit them. Those major moments in your life. You met new friends. You went new places. You did great things. But December is also a moment where you reflect on your losses. Some of y'all came out of bad relationships, probably lost somebody. You feel me? December also, you're reflecting on, you probably moved positions, moved across the world. You're experiencing loss. You're experiencing that reflection of or reminiscing on that old version of yourself. The same way that I got selected, I was also under an investigation in the early part of 2025. I never tell anybody that. January, February, March. March is when it concluded. I found out I got selected after the investigation. So I came in 2025 not too high. I came in it kind of low. And I'm reflecting on that. You know what I mean? I'm reflecting on those moments. December is a heavy month, man. Whether it's emotionally, mentally, financially, because we can't just ignore the fact that it's Christmas. Christmas coming up. New Year's coming up. If you like me, you probably got a kid's birthday that's in December and Christmas around the corner. You got gifts that you gotta buy for two different types of kids. For two different types of moments. It's a heavy financial thing. For some of y'all, you probably traveling. Going to see family that you ain't seen all year. You probably getting ready to execute orders. December's a heavy month. And I would be remiss if I didn't tell you to take a moment and just acknowledge all of that. You know what I mean? Take a moment, take a step back and acknowledge all of that. I remember driving, I think it was like 2022. It was like my second year at the Mace. It was like my second official year at the Mace. And I remember in 2022 just driving, man, just reflecting on everything that occurred that year, that I had showed up, and just thinking about how far I had came. I'd be lying if I'd be telling you right now that here I am, once again, reflecting on the December of 2024, where I was at mentally, where was I at emotionally, where was I at physically, financially, Was I hitting my goals? Where was my headspace? I'll be honest, bro, like December 2024, bro, I was at a low point last year. You feel me? God, I was at a low point last year. Y'all ain't even know it. I was at a low point last year. And my first year on recruiting duty, I was experiencing just like the highs and lows of it. And I was just beat down, and I was so exhausted. Here I am, still looking young as fuck, still showing up. So it's a moment of, yeah, I'm looking at the pain, but I'm also looking at the battle and how I came out of it. You feel me? I'm looking at that storm, and I'm remembering how bad that storm was. And although it was heavy, I made it through. And I really want somebody I don't know who really listening to this episode today, but I really want you to take a moment, and as you reflect on that heavy of December, you feel me? Where you was at last year, where you were at during the year, you feel me? Just know that if you're listening to this episode right now, you are either out of that storm, in the middle of that storm, or probably about to go into another one. But you have the opportunity to reflect, to realign, to refocus. But if you've made it through, bro, go ahead and just give yourself a pat on the back. Because here you are in the moment of reflection on what you thought was the worst day of your life. Now, before I switch gears, also, December's a month of comparison. You probably looking at your peers and you saying to yourself, am I exactly where I'm supposed to be right now? You feel me? You probably looking at family. You probably looking at other people around you like, damn, am I where I'm supposed to be? Is my money right like everybody else's? Is my goals aligned like everybody else's? Am I in a relationship yet? Fuck, I'm out of relationship. I will tell you, comparison will always be the thief of joy. Comparison is always the thief of joy. So don't get too caught up in December comparing yourself. Use this time to just reflect. Now, here's the major piece with December. And December actually has 3 jobs. Let me rephrase that, because I say it as if December, no. Here's the 3 things that you can do in December. Reflect, reconcile, realign. All right, and I'll say it again. Reflect, reconcile, realign. I just talked about reflecting. You know what I mean? And I'm not and I always come off so fucking morbid. You know what I mean? I always come off so fucking morbid. I'm always talking about losses. I'm always talking about low points. That reflection isn't always just bad. All right? Reflect on the good too. You feel me? Reflect on the good as well that transpired in your life. You feel me? Some of y'all met somebody that you just immediately fell in love with, whether that's romantically or friendships. If you like me, some of y'all got fucking selected, got selected for promotion. Shout out to the new first sergeant, shout out to the new sergeant majors, new master sergeants, new master gunnery sergeants, and the new gunnery sergeants. I know it took us all fucking year to get promoted, but we did. So when I say reflect, I don't mean just reflect on the bad. I mean also reflect on the fucking good too. You feel me? Some of y'all came across some real money. You know what I mean? Came across some real money that you didn't think that you was going to make the other year. You feel like I made one of my biggest plays this year in podcasting, but I'm always so used to reflecting on the bad. But you also got to reflect on the good, because these are power moves that you're going to need to set up for you. Come on, man, stay with me for 2026. So don't just reflect on the bad, but also reflect on the good. Reconcile. I need you to make peace, okay, with shit that is either happened and is out of your fucking control, okay? If it's happened already, guess what? You can't go back in time. You lost somebody in 2025, guess what? That person is on the other side. You ain't going back for them. You feel me? If something didn't go the way that it was supposed to, then you know what? Fuck it. All right? If you can't fix it, then don't waste your time on it. If you can fix it, fix it. If it's worth even double backing on it, then double back and go grab it. But at the same time, I need you to make peace. All right? You can't come into 2026 worrying about some shit that has already happened in 2025. You can't come into 2026 still carrying the bullshit of 2025 because you ain't made peace yet. I don't know who need to hear this, man, but make peace with it. You know what? Actually, somebody said this, and I just got to share it with you. Make peace so you don't turn into a hater, okay? I'll say that again. Make peace so you don't turn into a hater. I don't know who need to hear this, man, but a lot of people ain't haters by choice. You feel me? They didn't want to be a hater. You feel me? They ended up becoming a hater, not because they hate you, not because they hate what you're doing, not because they hate the thing that you about. They hate the fact that they not doing it. And the reason why they hate the fact that they not doing it is because they know that they can do it. They just don't got the discipline. They just ain't got the mindset. They just got a lot of excuses. They ain't got enough time. They ain't got the income. And that shit bothers them because they see you doing it. And they always say to themselves, fuck, I should be doing that. Fuck, I could be doing that. Damn, why am I not doing that? And I tell you this, make peace so you don't become a hater. I'm going to call a spade a spade. Some of y'all got passed over for promotion this year. Make peace with that because you're going to go into 2026 bitter as fuck, looking at everybody else, asking yourself, why isn't it me? And that's going to affect you, and it's going to affect you here. All right? Some of y'all came out of a relationship. I need you to make peace with that because you're going to be looking at other people like, fuck, when am I going to find mine? Make peace so you don't become a hater. And lastly, the most important thing that you can do this month, realign. All right? Count your wins, count your losses, regroup. Grab your resources and just regroup. You feel me? There's lessons to be learned. Learn them. Because I tell you right now, if you set your December up the way that it's supposed to, that alignment it's gonna propel you into January. And you're gonna be sitting back in next year, 2026, saying, damn, man, look at everything that I've accomplished. So with that being said, all right, if you can't take anything away from this episode, all right, I will tell you right now, reflect, reconcile, and realign. All right. December is all about reflecting on the wins and the losses and taking the lessons from both of them and using it to prepare yourself for the new year. So with that being said, do not forget to like this episode, subscribe to this episode, share this episode because this podcast deserves to grow just as much as we do. And if this episode was resonating with you, do me a favor and put a hell yeah, brother in the comments.
And just like that, another extraordinary thought left this ordinary mind. I hope you enjoyed this episode half as much as I enjoyed making it. Don't forget to head on over to your favorite streaming platform, whether that's Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, and leave this podcast an honest review because this podcast deserves to grow just as much as we do. Also, don't forget to head on over to TikTok or Instagram and follow me at Meech Speaks. That's right, Meech Speaks. Meech is spelled M-E-E-C-H. Stay motivated, stay healthy. I'm out.